It's actually a really good activity to get you to think not just what you believe, but also looking at the other perspective as well. I was teaching a 9th and 10th grade honors U.S. history course, and we used the formative assessment strategy of the debate team carousel, which students before the previous night for homework, the students had read an article about Franklin Roosevelt and his first 100 days in office. You're going to respond to this prompt at the top. So you see it says, Franklin D. Roosevelt changed the role of the federal government and fixed many economic problems during his first 100 days in office. The debate team carousel is a really good way to get kids to think, look at the issue from both perspectives, because the way it works is students respond individually first to what they think about the prompt, and then they pass their paper to someone else in their group who then adds a supporting argument to the original response. They then pass the paper to another person in their group who then has to add an opposing argument. So even if they don't, even if they agree with the previous arguments, they're forced to look at the issue from a different perspective. For the third box, you want to add an opposing argument. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. You want to read the first two arguments and then you want to give the opposite side. All right, so this is kind of forcing you to maybe, argue a position that's different than the one you might naturally have. Once they add an opposing argument, then they pass it over to a fourth person who puts in his 2 cents or her 2 cents as well. So when they're finished, then they get a complete look at both sides of the issue. And it provides a lot of discussion opportunities too for the students as they work in their groups. I'll pull out a popsicle stick and ask one of you to respond. Olivia.
I agreed, and I said that he brought the country back together and he gave hope to citizens. What
we did was we monitor, as they're in their groups, monitor their answers, monitor the group work, and then we had a full class discussion using the popsicle stick method as well to see what their responses were and to see how they could build off of one another. The critics on the right, the conservative critics, what do you think they would criticize Roosevelt about with all these programs, these government programs? Why might they criticize him? Too much government, exactly. Guys, you're hearing a lot of the same things today, all right? Especially when you talk about the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. A lot of critics on the right are criticizing Obama because there's too much government. It's kind of funny, if you listen to some of the criticisms of Roosevelt, you hear the same things about Obama a lot of times. He's a communist, he's a socialist. They were leveling those criticisms at Roosevelt back in the day. And so there's that argument that he's doing too much. Why do you think he was criticized by people on the left? By the liberals? Why do you think they were criticizing Roosevelt? You don't have to give me specifics, you can just kind of do it in a general sense. Yeah, not doing enough. Even if they disagree on the basic arguments, at least they understand both sides of the argument. And then we use that then as sort of a springboard to examine in more detail Roosevelt's policies and how he changed the government, which eventually with our summative assessment will be a unit test or an essay prompt where they have to address the same issue. Lauren, where are you? Where's Lauren? There you are. The popsicle stick thing we can use every day in class pretty much to keep kids engaged, to keep them on their toes that they might be called on. And the carousel thing, it just takes a little bit of preparation on the kids' part. Usually it's a nice way to follow up an assignment that they might have the night before to then get them in and discuss it.